Hi, welcome. On this video, again, focusing on the theme of being intentional when it comes to exposing the mind of the dog and kind of getting all the cards on the table. One of the ways to do that is really slowing down during your walk with the dog on the leash. And because what's real common is dogs, through just the pace itself, through how fast people will walk and move, is that they can hold control through that type of interaction. And the way to really begin to expose these control issues is to be intentional when it comes to how the method itself will help to define the relationship, help to show what's really happening. So one of the things, the ways to do this is, as you're walking the dog, is really stopping a lot, is really just taking one step forward and going through the sequence of the method with putting the dog's bum on the ground first, with placement, and getting the dog to come into agreement with the sit position. But again, it's interaction based, so again, how the dog responds to that type of influence is important to kind of key up on that. And then again, going through the actual sequence with from there with the push-pull method, and again with being in tune to how the dog is investing, with moments of interrupting that level of investment, and then following that sequence again, then moving forward again, and then repeating the same sequence, same pattern through the method. And again, because here's the thing, what happens as the person is just kind of moving forward and there's no kind of framing it up that way, with being intentional that way, the dog will understand that you have a level of control. Don't get me wrong, but there's a difference between control and change. How about relational change, with really getting the relationship to the point you need to go at the type of or level of influence that's going to allow you to overcome certain behavioral issues. Because the thing is, what dogs will do is, and dogs are amazing this way, is they'll not just pace you, okay, but the mind will kind of jump ahead. In fact, control itself becomes a motivator. The dog will say, well, after I do this, this, and this, it could be, 4 or 5 different things, I get that, okay? So it's like that, they're incentivized that way. But again, the motives, what that shows, the motives are sideways, okay? So you can get what looks like a good walk, okay? And I've seen this happen many times. A person will be moving very fast. The dog will actually go into the sit and do certain things that, to the kind of undiscerning eye, and not looking, rightly through a certain lens, through the relational lens, it'll look kind of great. It'll say, man, that looks fantastic. But the test is when you say, hey, hold on here a second, let's change this up a little bit. Again, keeping it within the parameters of what's reasonable, okay, these are reasonable expectations, is let's get you to stop really soon, slow down your pace, stop, and then go through this sequence, okay? And then what happens is, more than not, the dog goes into a high challenge state. The dog says, hold on here a second, I didn't sign on to that. That's not the agreement. I'm in control. You think you were in control, but I'm really in control. That's not what you signed on the document. And I'm going to challenge you on it, okay? And again, just look at that and say, wow, that's interesting that the dog is reacting that way. But again, if you put that in the proper context and look at, take kind of a 3-dimensional view of the relationship, you'll start to connect these dots properly, and you'll start to say, man, I'm not really have the control I thought I had. I mean, I don't have the level of influence I really thought I had. It just appeared to be that way because of how the dog works these angles, okay? Or through various interactions, the dog can hold control. And that's why I say it's really important to understand the methodology itself has to have the ability to put all the cards on the table. It has to have the ability to break it down at this level, in order so that you're not being deceived, and that you can actually create a depth of change that's going to allow you to get to where you need to go in the relationship. So again, if you have any questions about the system, again, I developed it. It's one of a kind. You're not going to find this system anywhere else. It works off of understanding the mind of the dog at a deeper level, much deeper level, and understanding why the methodology is critical. It's got to follow the right path. It's got to have the ability to be able to put all the cards on the table in a way that's going to allow you to move the relationship forward. Because again, one of the big problems, and it's a major deception in the dog training world, is this learning-based, position-based narrative that assumes certain things based on how a dog responds. And that's a major problem, because again, you have to go beyond just response. Relationally, you have to look at that and say, okay, what are the motives that are in play here to make a determination regarding where you're at in a relationship. But again, if you look at unwanted behavior problems, those are all associated to the issue of regarding motives and these control issues, and it all connects together. But what happens is that, and this is the problem, is that things can appear disconnected. You can do certain things and say, why does this picture look absolutely fantastic within certain interactions, but I have all these issues going on here on the other side? And the common thing, people say, my dog almost appears bipolar or something. The dog is crazy. Well, no, actually, the real issue is understanding these issues of control, okay? Is that what you see, what looks crazy, is actually the truth of everything, and everything else you're seeing is actually a deception. And when I say deception, it means that not putting certain interactions into right context relationally. It's not understanding these issues of control and motives and the motives of dogs. So, but again, I encourage you, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Be more than happy to help you out to understand where you're at in the relationship, and not just understand, but give you the proper methodology so that you can actually create meaningful change with your dog. So thanks for watching.